How's it going, everybody? The Seer here, and today we have the gameplay footage for the Astral team. Now, in this video, I'm actually have a lot of gameplay footage for you guys later on in the video, so feel free to use the timestamps below if you just kind of want to see the footage. However, I do urge you to kind of listen to what I have to say, because this team, it goes from about a top 10, maybe like top 5 war team, to basically being a 1A, 1B version in war. The only team that really rivals this, I would say, would end up being Mercs for money. Now, I was fairly disappointed with my initial testing until I really started breaking down what teams this Astral team could end up beating in war. That kind of made me hesitant as far as how this team's going to end up performing in Cosmic Crucible. I think when you start subbing characters out and adding some in, like we do with the Annihilators, this is going to be a very good Cosmic Crucible team. But it's going to be kind of dependent on who we throw with. Now, I did end up making a spreadsheet, which we're going to end up discussing here in a moment. But first, I want to let you know how this team kind of functions. This team, if they end up falling behind in war, they do end up struggling, kind of getting off their back foot. But once they start going, the sustain and what they actually do, which they do very well as far as the sustain portion goes. And then you have the pings from the Shadow King, and Astral one's going to be like kind of one of the main damage dealers on the team. They start doing very well. They ramp up fairly quickly. Now, for this speed, that's the main concern I was having with this. Shadow King's going to end up going first, and he has a speed of 125. Next up is going to end up being the Ancient One, and she has a speed of 122, so she'd go second. 122 in today's meta, without having turn meter on spawn and speed up, is not really that great. After that, it's going to end up being Moondragon that goes, and she has a speed of 113. Then it's going to go to Emma Frost, who has a speed of 111. After that, it's going to end up jumping over to Doctor Strange, who has a speed of 108. Very slow. However, Doctor Strange is pretty vital to this team as far as keeping everybody alive. In war, I would probably end up subbing out Moondragon depending on the matchup. Otherwise, you'd sub out Doctor Strange. The reason it's going to be one of these two depending on the matchup is because of the awakened abilities. Now, one of the first awakened abilities I grabbed was the passive for Moondragon, because she makes it to where when an enemy attacks this character or an Astral, then they end up getting the barrier of 5%. That really helps them to survive, and then they kind of hit back pretty hard. Doctor Strange having that revive on his ultimate, and if somebody ends up dropping down, he gains 2 ability energy. That does help to kind of get yourself back in the fight. So those two, they do have value, and there were a lot of fights where Doctor Strange was fairly clutch for me. But let's go ahead and go into the spreadsheet so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So this is basically sorted by if I had any issues beating them, that's going to be the green. Basically, take this fight, you'll do fine. After that, I started adding on certain awaken abilities I thought was going to be pretty vital to beating certain teams, and it really did ramp up with minimal awaken ability investments, depending on how hard you want to go into war. Now, we don't know how they're going to end up giving these awaken abilities out. Is it going to be free to play because they do have about 12 awaken abilities between the full team? Or is it going to be all money gated? Is it going to be event based on participation? We need to kind of know how this is going to happen, because that does kind of worry me, because some of these awaken abilities are very vital. Now, if we start at the top of the list, we have the Annihilators. I was able to beat this team actually fairly easy. Just the sustain that this has, and when the Thanos passive goes off, you do end up losing your buffs, and then you just bounce back very quickly, and those pings coming from the Shadow King is pretty substantial. Doing the mirror match and having America Chavez, I believe she was placed between Astral one, or the Ancient One, and the Shadow King to really get them going, because that turn meter on spawn because you're able to do your targeting, I was able to beat this. Granted, this base to base, they didn't have their awakened abilities either. It was a fairly easy matchup. The Cabal, Shocker, and Lizard, I was a little worried about this because of how much their turn meter rewinds are, but based on how this team performs, they do fairly well damage. You're able to really pick them off once they end up doing their turn meter rewinds. It actually wasn't too bad of a fight. Here are Asgard Dorm. They have those 4 season buffs right now. I was able to beat it, and I did 2 different tests. One to where the passive didn't end up triggering, and then one where it triggered twice for Valkyrie. Both times it was very easy to beat this team. New Avengers I was a little worried about because of how fast the team is, but because of Emma Frost shutting down that turn meter, New Avengers was kind of a joke because they had old stats, and I kind of shut down their speed mechanic, which is one of their niches that they have. They were able to beat the Nightstalkers. This one actually wasn't terrible. I was expecting this one to be much worse because of how fast the Nightstalkers are and how they thrive on getting ahead of the enemy. Out of time, the full team with Black Knight, no issues at all. Spider Society, no issues. X-Treme Rogue, this one wasn't too bad. I was thinking this might be worse because how much sustain they have, but I was able to take that just fine. Now, Superior 6, this one here is very interesting because they hit you so hard, so fast, but you're able to really rebound and just hit them back harder and just focus down Green Goblin Classic, and then the match is over. That one was kind of surprising. It's a feel bad because of how hard they hit you, and you just have to sit there and take it until it's your turn. I was able to beat Illuminati with no awakened abilities, and this one felt very bad because the Illuminati is such a fast team. They hit you so hard. They have all those assist mechanics. However, you're able to kind of push through it. It feels much worse, but once you start picking them off, like taking out Captain Britain, taking out Hank Pym, once that happens, then it starts to feel better. So I would kind of warn you against taking this matchup until you get more awakened abilities. Now, for the Orchis team, that is such a frustrating matchup. That's one of the things I was kind of feeling. I don't like how this team is performing in war until I started adding more awakened abilities on. The Orchis team, with their sustain, all the buffs they get, they just keep pounding you, and you're not really making any headway. So that's why this one is just so bad of a matchup till you start getting more awakened abilities on. Secret Defender APOC, I tested against that one. Once I added the barrier on for the passive of Moondragon, then I actually got a good RNG to where I was able to beat them. However, the entire time, as you see on here, no matter how many awakened abilities I put on, it comes down to who Apocalypse Falcon punches, and if they start getting those bleeds out on you. If they start ramping up, it's going to be brutal for you guys. Alpha Flight, I got crushed. I loaded in, they just pounded me, I didn't take a turn, and then I basically died. That's really what it came down to. Once we got more awakened abilities on, which you see, I only needed 3 awakened abilities, and I was able to really do the matchup. The 4th one, no issues at all once I got the 4th awakened on here. Hive Mind Super Skrull. It eventually gets to where you can do the matchup with a few awakened abilities. It still ends up happening though. When I had most of the awakened abilities on, they beat me one time because of RNG. If they get the push on you and the carnage starts going off and Super Skrull kind of gets going on you, it can go bad. So definitely be wary of that one. You're able to do it, but it doesn't feel good in certain times, especially with diamonds and how big people have Hive Mind and how low stars you're going to have the Astral team for a bit. Infestation, it felt really bad until I had about 6 awakened abilities on. Once that happened, the matchup is really no issue. It feels worse than it actually is, which you're going to see later on when I do these matchups with the full awakened abilities. Mercs for money, like I said, this is a 1A, 1B war team. If there was no timer, then I would say Astral team does have the edge because you're going to be controlling. Because there is that timer, there is always going to be a threat of a timeout if you take that matchup. So it's kind of like two unstoppable forces colliding with each other, and it's whoever gets tired first is basically how that matchup goes. Now, the first awakened ability I ended up putting on was going to be Moondragon's passive, which gives you the barrier that we discussed. So if we go back in game right here, the Moondragon passive is in war. When an enemy attacks this character or an Astral ally, bury yourself and all allies for 5% of this character's max health. Because of how slow this team is, they're going to keep hitting you, and they need to do more than 5% damage to really start inflicting pain on you. So this is, I would say, an essential awakened ability, and was the first one I got. When I ended up getting that awakened on the Moondragon, you can see on the spreadsheet right here, the Superior 6 matchup felt better. So it goes from like an orange to a yellow for me. Illuminati, it gets better, but it still is not great. I was able to beat Orchis once that happened, mainly because of how fast Orchis is. Those keep hitting you with that hammer, but you have the barrier to protect you, and then you can kind of hit back. The matchup is still a slog of a fight, but I was able to beat them. SDA Puck, I was able to get one victory off of that testing, which I don't have footage of that because when I started putting the awakened abilities on, I was kind of messing with on my phone and not on the computer. So I didn't really record any of these when I was doing the process, but we're going to have that footage at the end of the video of full awakened going against these teams, so you can kind of see how that ends up going for you guys. The next awakened ability I ended up getting was going to be Ancient One's Speed Up. That is an essential one as well. What that one's going to end up doing for you, let me jump back to the game. So for the Ancient One, this one here is going to make it to where in war, apply speed up to self and all allies. That is definitely an essential, mainly because of the speed of the team. The order of operations, again, is going to be Shadow King going first, unless he gets a turn meter rewind. Then it's going to be Ancient One. She's going to put the speed up on everybody, and that's going to ramp up to where you're able to start taking turns much faster, especially when you go against teams like the Illuminati, where they put speed down on you or slow on you. So that's why that one's going to be pretty much an essential awakened ability for you guys. Now, the next one, the teams I was able to beat with that. Superior 6 felt better again. Illuminati felt better, but it wasn't great. So you can kind of see how just two awakened abilities already made an impact. Orchis, it still felt bad, but it was feeling better. The main reason it still felt bad is because they throw trauma on you when I believe Nimrod goes, or Mega Sentinel goes. I want to say it was Nimrod throws the trauma on you. So that way they put slow on you with trauma, then you end up putting this on. So that's why that's very important for you. I was able to beat Alpha Flight once I got the speed up with the Ancient One. So you're going to have the barrier on you, and then you end up putting the speed up on you. Then you're able to really make the fight last a little bit easier for you guys. The Hive Mind Super Skrull is then I was able to get a victory off of this. It became an RNG fight because of who gets pushed, how Super Skrull ends up targeting you and everything, but I was able to get the victory with just two awakened abilities. The next one I end up getting was going to be Ancient One's passive. This one here is going to make it to where you get Safeguard. So if we end up looking in game again, the passive right here, on spawn, apply Safeguard to self and all Astral allies. So you'd spawn in, you'd have your Safeguard. When it goes to Ancient One's turn, you use the special as opposed to the ultimate. That's going to get speed up on you with Safeguard, and you're going to have those barrier going at you because of Moondragon. This I would say is essential as well because it is giving you that Safeguard on spawn, which is very important for this team. Now, when we end up looking at the spreadsheet, once we got the Safeguard on, I was able to do the Superior 6 fight, no issues at all. Illuminati, it goes from a not great to a feels better type of moment, because you're going to have safeguard, you're going to have speed up capabilities, you're going to have barrier coming at you. I was able to do that fight much easier once I got that on there. The Orchis fight, it still feels bad, obviously. The Orchis is just so dangerous. They're so fast, they hit you so hard. That's why that's always going to be an issue. SD APOC, no matter what, it's going to be the RNG fight, so I'm just going to ignore that from now on in this video. Alpha Flight, it turned into a feels better moment. You're going to have safeguard, you're going to be able to put the speed up on you, you're going to have that barrier, so you're able to survive all of the opening barrage that the Alpha Flight does into you. The Hive Mind Super Skrull, it's still an RNG fight after that. And Infestation, that becomes an RNG. It depends if Doctor Strange survives. Because if you end up losing that Doctor Strange, you're not going to be able to bring people back to life. So it's really a difficult fight because of that. Now, eventually you are able to beat Infestation. It's just very difficult for a little bit. So once I end up getting these three, the next one I really was looking at was going to be Emma's passive. The passive that Emma Frost gives you, let me go back in game right here. So if we go over to Emma Frost, the passive in war, whenever this character or an Astral ally or an X-Men ally gains disrupt, you're going to clear the disrupt and apply immunity. That's actually very big. I didn't think this was going to be that impactful, but if we look at the fights that we end up having with that, the Illuminati, they don't apply disrupt, so that wasn't really impactful. The Orchis, they put trauma on you, so that really wasn't impactful to where we could flip it. However, the Alpha Flight, that made it a much easier matchup, because when they put the disrupt on you, they don't really have a way of putting trauma, so you're able to flip that, so that way you're going to have safeguard plus your immunity, and then you can put the speed up on top of it. It made the Alpha Flight very easy once we got that awaken ability on her. Hive Mind Super Skrull, because of Carnage doing the ultimate where he gets the disrupt on you, then that flips into the immunity, then how that ends up playing out. As long as you don't get pushed by the Hive Mind, this matchup becomes much, much more doable. The Infestation, that really didn't come into play right there. It still is an RNG fest after that. Now, the Mercs for Money, that's when I started to see improvements in that matchup. Because of the way the Mercs for Money plays out, that really, you see how these awaken abilities start to really make an impact for you. The next one I ended up getting was going to be the Shadow King passive. So if we look at the passive for Shadow King on here, in war, enemies cannot spawn with immunity right down here. So this basically makes it to where they don't spawn with the immunity, so you're able to really use the special right here. As long as they don't have the safeguard on spawn, you're able to flip and then get the ability block and trauma on them. So that's why I went with that one next. By adding in that awakened ability, the Illuminati matchup, it's still not great, but it felt much better. Orchis, I was really able to start beating them after that. So they're not going to have the trauma, so I was really able to kind of hammer them down, start throwing the negative effects on them. It made a huge difference. The Infestation, it goes into a feel bad moment because they're not going to have their immunity on spawn, so you can really just tunnel them down right off the bat. It made it to where it was very doable after that. The next one we ended up doing was going to be the Shadow King special. So that's going to make it to where they don't have their immunity on spawn. So when Shadow King starts by doing the special here, it's going to flip the positive effects into negative effects. It's going to get the ability block and trauma, and it's going to spread those as well to all of the adjacent enemies. So that was very impactful as far as the awaken ability goes. So as you see, the more awaken you throw on here, the fights get much, much easier. The next one I would say is most impactful is going to be Emma Frost special. That's going to make it to where you get a 20% barrier So if we look at the MSF special on here, this one here, in war, bury yourself in all Astral and X-Men allies for 20% of this character's max health. That was actually fairly impactful. I wouldn't say that's an essential one. It's more of a luxury one because of the teams I was able to beat once we added that on. It didn't really change anything. The next thing that really was most impactful, yeah, so anything after the Shadow King special on here, all the way down, it just makes it to where the fights are much easier once that ends up happening. But we're going to end up going into the gameplay footage. Again, there's going to be descriptions or timestamps in the description below. Feel free to kind of pick and choose which one you want to go for. At the very end of the video is going to be the matches with the awakened abilities, so you can kind of see how some of these matches play out. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Sorry this is a long one, but I felt this was very important, discussing how these awakened abilities are so impactful to the team. This is still a 1A, 1B war team. They're going to be the best team in Battle World, obviously. Cosmic Crucible, I do see when we start subbing characters in, this is going to be an issue, especially in that stage 1. But if you did like this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, have one for the rest of the day, everybody. We're going to be testing out the Astral team versus Out of Time. Now, I've done this one before. This is actually a really easy matchup. The main reason is the Black Knight spawns in with the taunt, but no safeguard. So Shadow King's going to be able to go first, flip those positive effects into negative effects, get trauma on him, ability block on him, and disrupt. And from there, it's actually really easy. So we're going to use that special. There we got the flip on him, and the Starbrand got messed up pretty good and killed off right there. Now here, you want to use the special. This does a nice AoE hit. And if we got the Awaken, that's going to put the speed up on us. Now the Out of Time's going to do their turn, but we're in a really good position. We're not using really any ultimates on this team, so that means they're not really getting that barrier either. So right now the Out of Time's kind of doing their thing. The Ancient one got messed up there pretty good. We're going to end up using the special. And there we got a nice heal off of us. Now that it's MSF's turn, we have two options. We have the taunt still on the Captain America. So what we can do is actually the special here. It's going to attack the primary, mind control, and basically this should kill him off. I didn't kill him, but still did pretty good. All right, so here we're going to target the Black Knight. We can use the special. That's going to do 5%. He is a striker. It's going to do that striker hit. So let's go ahead and do that. And there goes the Black Knight. So Doctor Strange actually does something on this team, which is pretty cool. All right, so now I'm going to turn this animation down. This is such a cool ultimate ability. So it took all of their positive effects away. He ends up gaining those positive effects. And the Shadow King just kind of munches them. It's really cool. So that basically killed everybody. So as you see, Out of Time, no match against the Astral team. All right, next up we have the Annihilators. Now this one here, I believe they beat this team. The sustain that the Astral team has compared to what the Annihilators does, it's actually kind of in the Astral team's favor. So this is one place they can use this team without getting those awakened abilities. So their Gore ends up doing that ultimate, and based on the speed bar, it looks like the majority of the enemy is going to go first. Now we did get the ability block on the Moondragon. We're going to use that special into the Gladiator with the Shadow King, and you can see it did pretty good damage to the Gladiator. He's a tanky boy. So now that it is Ancient One's turn, we're going to use the ultimate, I believe. This attacks the primary and it does a rebound chain. And then it puts stun and reduce. So yeah, let's go ahead and use this. There's the nice rebound chain. And now we have the safeguard on us. Because of the positioning of Thanos Endgame being not adjacent to Gladiator, that's also in our favor a little bit. And here we're going to end up targeting Let's target Silver Surfer and get him killed off. So we're going to use the ultimate here. This is going to do a nice heal. All right, so there goes the Surfer. There goes Gladiator. Thanos' passive went off, but we're in a really good position. We have 2 of them dead. We're going to use Doctor Strange's ultimate. That's going to do a revive to that Emma Frost as well. And now we got Wong out on the field. Let's just tunnel down and get rid of Gore. We're going to use the special so we can get some barrier up on us. And we're going to target Thanos and use the ultimate. All right, so there goes Gore. And the match is pretty much over. So Astral does good against the Annihilator team. So there, Thanos got his ability off. Ancient One's going to use the special. Moondragon's going to special. So yeah, this is a pretty single-handedly easy fight for the Astral team. We're going to go on to the next one once we finish this off. So let's go ahead and use the special here. And that is game. All right, next up we have the Nightstalkers teams. This is a little bit of a punch-up. This is one of the newer teams. Now this team for the Nightstalkers, they're a team that wants to get ahead. And they do have the speed advantage over us. Let's see if we have better sustain than the damage output that they have. So for this one here, Blade's going to use the ultimate into the Emma Frost. Does that turn meter rewind to us, which hurts us even more? Both does the ultimate. Emma Frost is killed. Well, she lived. Agatha's going to ult. And there we already lost Emma Frost. Moon Knight does the ultimate. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we can do. So the ultimate here, heal all allies. They have heal block, though. That's not going to help. Special, flip immunity, clear positive effects from enemies. Reduce turn meter, heal all allies, defense up deflect. Nothing to get rid of the heal block. We're still going to special, so we can try to get rid of the immunity, but that didn't work. Let's go ahead and use the ultimate. This is going to clear those negative effects and bring Emma Frost back. All right, so now we have our turn. We're going to ult. And because Emma Frost got killed by Blade, I didn't see that Blade was the one that killed her. We don't actually get the revive on her. Let's use the special, do that nice AoE hit. Man-Thing does the ult. That gets defense up on them. All right, we're going to use the special. That should flip. So we got Agatha killed off. We have the ability block trauma on the Man-Thing. Those counterattacks are doing pretty good work into that Blade, so that's good. All right, let's go ahead and target Blade and ult. This is going to do a heal. So it looks like the sustain that the Astral has was able to outlive the damage that was coming at them. So that's good to know that they are able to beat Nightstalkers on defense. All right, next up we have the Spider Society. So this is another raid team that's usually kind of a hassle to go against. The sustain that they have with the heals that the Peter Parker gives, they have a lot of sustain. The good thing we have for us, though, is the flips of those positive effects into negative effects. So here the Spider-Man Warrior uses that ultimate into the Shadow King. Pavitra ends up doing his rebound chain. Right now the barrier is saving us, though, so that's good. Right now we're just going to let the Spider Society do their thing, then we're going to take our turns, and we should be able to rebound after that. So here Penny ends up doing the ultimate. She flipped our stuff. Right now it's not looking good based on how many negative effects we have. The health triggers, getting rid of those negative effects is really good, though. All right, so we're going to end up using the special. Let's target the Peter Parker. There we flipped all their buffs into negative effects, except for Penny because she has crazy resistance. Let's go ahead and try to take out this Pavitra because he's the main damage dealer. We're going to put the ability block on him. Nor ended up bleeding out due to all the bleeds that were on there. Let's go ahead and target the P2B Parker and use the special. That's going to get the ability block trauma on him. There, Noir ends up doing the ultimate again. Counterattacks coming in. Nope. All right, so we're going to use the special. This does that AoE hit. So there we end up killing the Noir. Now we have the Moondragon killed, and they all just bled out. So they were able to out-sustain and then punch them back pretty good. So that's good to know. All right, the Astral team into the Superior 6 team is a really weird fight. The Superior 6 team does a lot of control. They do a lot of damage up front. And depending who gets killed off on the Astral team, it could go south very, very quickly. So I wouldn't recommend taking this fight. However, this could work. Now, this is about an 800k punch down, and you're going to see what happens here. The Green Goblin Classic is going to start by using that ult, and that's going to do that turn meter rewind to us, as you see. We get trauma on 4 of the 5 characters. The Shadow King can't get the trauma. He can't get the stun, so that does help us. Here, Kraven ends up using that special to put the ability block on the Emma Frost. Now, if the ability block goes on Doctor Strange, that is very dangerous for us, because what could happen is we could lose one of our Astral team members. That's going to give the 2 ability energy to Doctor Strange, to where we can ult turn 1 and basically get a really good rebound. So here, we're going to use that special from Shadow King into the Lizard. That's going to flip his positive effects into negative effects. We get the 2 trauma on him as well. Moondragon, we're going to end up using the ultimate here. That is a nice AoE hit to them. And their Lizard is already killed off. Now here we have 2 options. We can try to go all in on Green Goblin Classic or use the special to get an AoE hit. We're going to go all in and ult into the Green Goblin Classic. And that's going to do that rebound chain. So there we got a stun and a kill on Kraven. So that's really good. Doctor Strange is up. We're going to use that special. That's going to heal us. And it's going to do some nice AoE damage. We're just going to stay targeted on that Green Goblin Classic right here. And now we ult with the Shadow King. And it's pretty much over now. So this is a very high risk matchup. And it could go south pretty quickly, as you noticed. All right, we're going to test out the Astral team going into the new Avengers team. Now, because of the new Emma Frost passive, to where it doesn't allow the opponent to gain speed bar or any type without like getting the normal ticks for their speed bar, this team should be able to walk over it. The new Avengers team basically thrives on getting ahead of the opponent and making it to where they just kind of beat you down with 1,000 cuts right off the bat. But because they're not getting the initial turn meter on spawn because of Emma Frost, we're able to get ahead of them, especially with the new meta damage stats. So there, the Thing ended up putting the trauma stun on Doctor Strange. We have Shadow King's turn. We're going to use that special into Tigra, and that almost kills Thing right off the bat. So the counterattack there basically took care of Thing. Now we have Ancient One's turn. Let's go ahead and use the special. That's going to do a nice AoE hit. So there, we killed a couple minions. Tigra bleeds out. Mockingbird used her ultimate, so she's going to summon out a few more minions. There, Ronan ends up doing the ultimate. Puts the blind on Moondragon, but she's taking those hits like a champ. All right, so now it is our turn. Let's go ahead. Attacks the primary. This one here attacks primary as well. Let's go ahead and use the special so we get some barrier on us. Actually, wouldn't be barrier because we don't have her awakened. Moondragon, we're going to use that ultimate. And right now, Shadow King should be taking his turn. Yeah, we're going to ult, and this is going to be game right here. So this team was able to walk right over the new Avengers pretty easily. All right, next up, we're going to use the Astral team going into Cabal with Lizard and Shocker. Now, this right here is kind of a little bit more of a meta defense that we see because of all the turn meter rewinds that they can do. Shocker's ultimate does that turn meter rewind. Namor's ultimate, Lizard basically being able to take all the buffs off of you right off the bat. So let's see how this one is going to play out. So we are stuck on the lizard. We're going to use that special. That should flip. And we didn't get the trauma. We did get the kill though, so that's good. Let's go ahead and target the Iron Patriot and use Ancient One's special. There we got the shocker killed off. So right here, Iron Patriot does the special. He was able to basically flip our buffs. We got defense down on us. Namor ultimate does that turn meter rewind to us. All right, so leader used the special and killed off Emma Frost. Let's go ahead and use Moondragon's ultimate here. All right, so we got the kill on him. Namor's specials. All right, we're going to use the ultimate here from the Shadow King. And that should kill Namor with... Yeah, so this was a pretty easy matchup as well, so that's good. All right, now we're going to end up testing out the Astral team going into the Extreme X-Men with Rogue. This is the Cyclops version of this one, and the Extreme X-Men has a lot of sustain, especially if Forge ends up getting the revives, the ultimate off and everything. The reason I want to test against the Cyclops version is because if we end up getting that kill, it's going to end up pushing that Forge. Now I want to really push this to see what happens here. So Rogue ends up doing that special. She gets the trauma on the Doctor Strange. Right now they are fully covered in those buffs. We are stuck on the Rogue here, so we're going to use Shadow King's special into Rogue. We did some pretty good damage on the Gambit, so that's pretty good. The possessed ping just basically took out Gambit, so no Gambit on the field. That's always going to be a plus. All right, we're going to use the special from Ancient One. All right, Moondragon, we're going to ultimate. And that just destroyed Forge and Cyclops. Now we just have a Nightcrawler and Rogue. Rogue really doesn't like Doctor Strange. She has ulted on him, so now we got the stun. I don't think he's had a turn yet to try to get anything. We're going to use that ultimate into the Rogue. That kills her off. And now we just have to take out the Nightcrawler. So we're going to ult with the Shadow King. We're basically taking his buffs. We do that ultimate. His possessed ping did pretty good work right there. All right, let's go ahead. Ultimate, clear negative effects, revive 2, heal. We don't need any of that. Special, 5% damage. All right, let's go ahead and ult with the Ancient One. And yep, we were able to take this one out pretty good, it looks like. All right, for this one here, there's currently the season buffs going on for the Hero Asgard team. So I wanted to see how this would end up working. Now, Thor, the Vol, and Beta Ray Bill's going to get those extra 20% stat bump. Valkyrie isn't, and Dorm's going to give them that revive once. So I'm really curious how this one's going to play out. I don't think those buffs are really going to be that impactful, but I'm really curious and I want to see what happens here. So Vol is going to go first, use that special into Shadow King. So he's got the ability block. Let's go ahead and try to target down the Dorm a little bit. All right, Ancient One, we're going to use that special, nice AoE hit. And that flipped all those. Valkyrie already got killed off once. It looks like the passive didn't proc though, so that's good. There we got the ult. Now the passive proc off. All right, so Beta Ray Bill does the ultimate. All right, let's go ahead and ult with the Emma Frost. I'm really curious how this would play out if we end up getting the Valkyrie passive off sooner. So we're going to back out. I want to try this one more time just to see if we can find the worst case scenario for us attacking. If we can get the Valkyrie passive to go off early in the match, I'm curious if that safeguard the offense up and all those pings would end up hurting us. So let's see. We get the ability block here on Moondragon. And let's go ahead and target the Dorm down like we did last time. So there we got the kill. And she didn't come back. So that's interesting she didn't come back. I don't know what happened there. But we got the passive off. So let's go ahead and special. All right, so we were able to take another life off Thor. Let's just finish him off. Fade Ray Bill's going to ult. The evades. So yeah, it looks like even with the worst case scenario for us, we're able to really take this out. So let's ult over here. Special. Ult again with the Shadow King. All right, so yep, this one is oh, Ball is ulting. Ball ulted, that's good. Who does she bring back now? All right, so we got Valkyrie back, we got Thor back. Thor died again. Passive proc again from Vol or Valkyrie. Let's just focus down this Vol again. And yeah, it didn't matter. We even got a double Valkyrie passive and we were fine. Okay, now we're going to use the Astral team going into a Captain Britain Illuminati team. Now this is about a 700k punchdown, but this is the Captain Britain version, which really changes the matchup. The Illuminati really likes to get ahead of you. They just beat you down and it's really hard to recover because of all of the speed up that they really can get. So right there, the Shuri already put the ability block on Emma Frost. Hank Pym targets the Doctor Strange. The assists kind of come in. Now we're peppered in negative effects. We get a stun trauma on Doctor Strange. Miss Fantastic puts the ultimate on us. Now all those negative effects are extended. Now we finally have our turn and we're already beat down pretty good. All right, so let's use that special into the Captain Britain. All right, Moondragon, let's go ahead and special. So that did get a heal on us. That's good. We didn't have any heal blocks, so we were able to heal. Special with Ancient One again. Getting the Awakened special from her would be impactful. We'd have speed up for 2 turns. If we actually had that awakened. All right, so there is the special from Hank Pym. So now they healed up pretty good. They keep targeting the Doctor Strange. We don't want that. We want to make sure he tries to survive, just so that way if we lose anybody, he can bring them back. All right, so we got a health trigger there, it looks like, from Doctor Strange. Peppered in nade effects again. It's not looking too good right now. The slows are killing us too. They're just lapping us as far as damage goes. Okay, so now we have Archer. Let's go ahead and use that ultimate into the Captain Britain. So that did really good damage. That Captain Britain and Miss Fantastic got beat up pretty good from that. All right, there's an ult from Black Panther Shuri. Ancient One has the ability block. Okay, so we lost somebody, but that wasn't due to Black Bolt. So we have a chance to bring her back with Doctor Strange. Moondragon's going to ult. Okay, so basic into the Captain Britain. That's where we could have put bleed on him, but I don't think that would be impactful. We're going to ult with Doctor Strange. That's going to bring back the Ancient One. We got the kill on Mr. Fantastic. We got a Wongers out there. All right, ult into the Captain Britain. We got the kill on him. So this did not look pretty, but we were able to out-sustain the Illuminati team. All right, so there's the Black Bolt ultimate. counterattacks coming in really nice. All right, so let's basic into the Shuri. I want to make sure to kill her off. All right, she should bleed out. So let's go ahead, go to Hank. We're going to special. We get that striker hit for the extra 3% damage. So yeah, it looks like we were able to pull this one out. This was rough. It felt really rough. If we had the Ancient One's special awakened to where when she took her turn to use that special to get that speed up, I think that would have made this a whole lot easier and a more sustainable fight to where you can feel more comfortable taking it. All right, so we got a kill on Hank Pym. Now we just got the Black Bolt. So yeah, we're definitely good on this one now. All right, I want to test out a mirror match on this one. So we're going to end up using our Astral team against an enemy Astral team that has Chavez in it. So they're going to end up being able to get extra turn meter on spawn. Emma Frost should shut that down though, due to her passive stopping enemies that's non-mythic from getting extra turn meter. So let's see how this one's going to play out. Okay, so looks like hers still proc because it's on spawn, it looks like. So we're going to be fighting from behind here. Shadow King ends up doing the special into the Emma Frost. Ancient One ended up doing that special. Now we have our turn. Let's target the Shadow King and special. I want to see if I can try to maybe burn him. We got the ability block. We got the kill on Chavez. Ancient One's going to special. We flipped their buffs. All right, special into the Shadow King. I just want to burn him. Okay, so we got the kill on Shadow King. Now we need to try to take out the Strange before he ults, because he gets that 2 ability energy. So he's going to bring both of them right back to life. All right, so there's the Wong, there's the Chavez, and all right, so we're going to special into the Shadow King again. We got the kill again on the Chavez. All right, we're going to ult into the Shadow King. All right, we got the kill again on him. So yeah, looks like the mirror match, we were able to pull it out. You definitely have to be careful of your targeting. Trying to get rid of Shadow King and Strange. Strange being that time bomb to bring people back to life is pretty impactful. And that is the game on that one. Okay, so we have all of our awakened abilities on this team right now. So now this is going to be an aftershot for all of these tests. So the first one we're going to end up doing is that Superior 6. Before you saw that it could kind of go sideways. So let's go ahead and see how this one is going to play out. Now the characters are still going to be the 6 red, 6 yellow, 6 red on those 3 new characters. Again, I wish we could have had them at a lower start to really see what can end up happening with this team. Alright, so first, the Green Goblin Classic is going to end up using his ultimate. Because of that safeguard, he doesn't really flip anything. We don't have immunity and trauma on us right now, so we're looking pretty good right now. The ability block does go into Shadow King, which is interesting. So this is going to be kind of a worst case scenario. So he is the worst one that can actually be ability blocked. Spider Slayer ends up doing that special. Lizard ends up doing that special. All right, so we're gonna end up having to basic now into the lizards. We're just gonna do that. All right, so we're gonna end up using that special from the Ancient One. That's gonna get the speed up on us. That's pretty good. Moondragon, we're gonna end up using that ultimate. That should kill the lizard here. All right, so we're just gonna go all in on Green Goblin Classic now. We're gonna use special. We're able to flip all this positive effects into negative effects that you see on the other side there. Wong is up. We're gonna use that ultimate into Green Goblin Classic, and everybody's dead except for Green Goblin Classic. He does a special into Wongers. So yeah, this, as you see, This was the absolute worst case scenario, getting that ability block on the Shadow King, but this was a very easy matchup once we got those awakened abilities. Okay, next up we have the Illuminati matchup. Now, as you guys remember in the previous portion of this matchup was kind of a slog of a fight. It took about 4 minutes to beat this team just because of the sustain, how fast they are, how slow we are out the gate. This one here, you're going to kind of see is a lot better. Again, worst case scenario, we got the ability block on the Shadow King here. So for some reason today during this testing, they're giving us worst case scenarios, which I actually like. Right now, all of the Illuminati's taking their turns. They end up putting that trauma stun on Emma. We have the ability block on Shadow King, and they're still hammering us down pretty good right now. Okay, so Ancient One's going to go first. We're going to end up using the special here. That's going to get that speed up on us. We're going to use the special from Moondragon into the Captain Britain. Alright, special from Doctor Strange. Alright, so we're going to have to use the basic into the Captain Britain here. That calls the assistant. Captain Britain's getting messed up pretty good. He's down to about half health. Alright, Hank Pym ends up doing that ultimate into us. And as you see, that barrier is really coming in clutch from the Moondragon. It's a really good awakened ability for her. Luckily right there, the Black Belt ended up doing that passive burp into Shadow King, but the evade saved us. We're using that ultimate from Ancient One into the Captain Britain. Ultimate into the Moondragon. No, that did end up not getting the disrupt because they had that immunity with Safeguard. So here, Shadow King, we end up doing the ultimate. There's still the taunt on the Captain Britain. Mr. Fantastic is almost killed off. Black Panther Shuri does the ultimate for that rewind into the Ancient One and the adjacent. But the speed up, as you see, is very good. That's a very important awaken ability that we want to get for the Ancient One here. We used the ultimate from Doctor Strange. The main reason we did that so we can get the extra ping into that Mr. Fantastic. Shadow King, we used that special that spread those negative effects. We got the Mr. Fantastic killed off. This is still a slog of a fight, but again, this was the worst case scenario. We get in the trauma stun on Emma Frost, get in the ability block on the Shadow King. Now we just have a very easy cleanup. We're going to take out the Black Panther Shuri. Then we're going to take out the Hank Pym, so we can actually hit auto right here, and the match is over. So these awakened abilities, you see how it takes a slog of a fight, which is still kind of a slog because of worst case scenario, but makes it to where it's very easy and very doable. Okay, next up we have the Orchis fight. Same deal, same ISO setup and everything. Everybody's Raider. We have the Striker on Doctor Strange. This one here, it can still go wrong. I've had it to where they tunnel down the absolute worst portion of the field, and I lost before. What happened was they targeted down where Emma and Shadow King was, and I lost the Shadow King, Ancient One, and Emma Frost right off the bat. So that's going to be kind of a lose condition, obviously. So right now we're just letting the enemy take all of their turns, and they're kind of spreading the damage out, which is kind of the best case scenario. So let's see how this one ends up going. We do have that trauma stun on Emma Frost, unfortunately. Alright, so now it's Shadow King's turn. Because they don't have that immunity, we're going to use this special here into the Sentinel. So we got the defense down that kind of spread to where the Lady Deathstrike was. We killed one of the bots already. We have to use the special for Ancient One. That's going to get the speed up, so it's going to counteract the slow that's currently on us. Their Lady Deathstrike did the special into Emma Frost. That turned me to rewind, unfortunately. All right, we're going to use the ultimate here. This is very impactful. This is going to get that disrupt on the opponent. So here, Nimrod ends up doing the special into us for the AoE. All right, so here, the special does the attack all. I want to, let me see, clear all negative effects from self. Yeah, let's ult. That's going to get rid of all this negative effects on us. So we got the ping because that was an ult. So we did get a kill on the Lady Deathstrike. We need to try to make sure we kill the Scientist Supreme. Otherwise, Lady Deathstrike's going to come right back. All right, so we're stuck on a taunt. So we're just going to ult from Wongers over here. And now we're going to ult with the Shadow King. That's going to take those positive effects, give them to him. And there you see, like, the Scientist Supreme kind of has no turn meter right now. So we're in a pretty good position. We have kind of control of the matchup. All right, we're going to ult with Emma Frost into the Sentinel. And we're going to special. That's going to do that nice AoE hit. There's Sentinels killed off. Now we need to take out the Scientist Supreme. We're going to special with the Shadow King. And ult. And that should get a ping, and there it is. Okay, now we're going to end up testing into the Alpha Flight team. Now, as you remember from the original matchup, without any awakened abilities, we basically loaded in, they took the turns, and we wiped before we really did anything. Now we're going to really see what the impact of these awakened abilities can do. So Northstar is going to end up using the ultimate. Because of that safeguard, he doesn't flip anything. That puts disrupt on us, and that flips into immunity. So now we have immunity on 4 of these characters. We're going to use that special into the Sasquatch. So that got the trauma. The ability block does end up going to Wolverine over here. Guardian does the ultimate into the Shadow King, which is perfectly fine. Here we're going to use the special from Ancient One. That's going to get the speed up on us. Now we're going to ult with Moondragon. That's going to get disrupt on the opponent. Now that did end up dodging, but we got a kill on the Wolverine. This one here, let's use the ultimate into the Sasquatch. So now he's killed off. I want to target the Sunfire and special into him. So we don't get a flip, but we got the striker hit into him. And the counterattacks there, you see, just killed him off. Now we ult, and the match is pretty much over. So it's kind of a night and day matchup where we couldn't do anything, and then it turned into where they couldn't do anything. It's actually pretty cool. Just going to special with Ancient One, and there's the matchup. Okay, this one here is the Hive Mind Super Skrull matchup. Now, there is still going to be RNG in this matchup, depending if we end up getting a push on us because of Wong getting summoned out there. And because of Super Skrull doing the basic into us, basically getting that disrupt that flips into immunity on us, we have a lot of ways to really get that immunity. So it's an interesting matchup, and it also is based on RNG if we're able to end up getting to Super Skrull early. So right here, we got a turn meter rewind on us, and then Boy Knight does the ultimate to bring us all in. I want to target the Carnage on this one, and we're going to use the special into him. So there, the Super Skrull ended up getting flipped. He went right back into stealth. Venom ends up bleeding out. There, the Red Goblin ends up ulting into us. That's still fine. Super Skrull ends up ulting into us, but the barrier that we have really helped us to where we didn't get that push. Alright, so now it's our turn. We really can only target the Void Knight. We have the ability block on us. We're going to end up using that basic. Emma-Frost, we're going to ultimate. That's going to throw all those negative effects on us right back into them. Here we get a turn meter rewind on us, unfortunately. And now it is Shadow King's turn. We ult. This usually ends up finishing the match for us. So as long as you make it to the ultimate for Shadow King, the match is over. So the Red Goblin ends up trying to do something. He does that special into us. Doctor Strange, we're going to special. There we got the kill on the Super Skrull, and the match is over. Alright, for this matchup here, we have the Infestation team. So this one here is another night and day type of matchup. The way the Infestation works is with all of those assists, they like to kind of flip your positive effects. They still take our ability energy, so it takes a little bit for us to get going, but it's a lot more doable and sustainable. So right here you see the Big Time does that ultimate into the Ancient One, and we got the trauma on us. So we're not really able to flip those disrupts into immunity, and we do have blind on us. So what I usually like to do here is I try to target down one of the assist characters, which we're going to end up targeting the Ant-Man on this one. Alright, so now it's our turn. We're going to end up doing the basic here into the Ant-Man. So now we got the blind on him. And again, they just take so many turns. It's kind of a annoying type of fight. Ancient One, we're going to do the basic into the Ant-Man. She's blind, so nothing. Moondragon's basic into the Ant-Man. I'm just going to try to tunnel him down to liven off some of the hits on us. Here I'm going to use MSF basic into the Yellow Jacket. Ant-Man did end up bleeding out, so that's good. Alright, so here I'm going to target somebody with a vulnerable because we have that Striker Strange. So we're going to do the basic there into the Swarm. Alright, so here I'm going to use the ultimate here, copy and the positive effects. I'm going to target the Big Time and ult into him. I just wanted to take some of those positive effects off him. So here, I'm going to use that special into the Big Time. So that ended up killing the Yellow Jacket. We messed up the Big Time pretty good. The Swarm is killed off, and now the match is pretty much over. So this matchup here is more about biding your time, and then when you're able to, that's when you're going to end up taking your strike. And now the matchup that you guys are probably most curious about. We're going to end up using that Astral team into the Mercs one. And you're going to understand why I say this is like a 1A, 1B. They're both very good, and it can really go either way on who ends up getting the victory. There's going to be a few steps that you need to try to remember when you take this matchup. Right now, the Pandapool and Old Man Logan, basically the Mercs for money's taking their turns right now. The Old Man Logan did end up getting the stun on Emma Frost, which is unfortunate. Now, when it gets to the Shadow King's turn, even if you have the ultimate as an option, I still prefer to do the special into the Pandapool. That's going to get the trauma with ability block on him and do some nice control to the Dakin adjacent. We're going to end up using that special with the Ancient One. That's going to get the speed up on us, which is kind of imperative. So that way we can try to get ahead of the Mercs for money and try to take out the Dakin before he takes the second turn. Because as long as we can weaken the damage output that's coming at us, we have a good chance at getting the victory. So right here, the Old Man Logan does end up doing the ultimate. All of the disrupts that came over to us, if we don't have trauma, we're able to flip that over to the immunity, which is great. Moondragon, we're going to use the ultimate. That's going to heal. It's going to put disrupt on the opponent, and we were able to get a kill on the Dakin. Here we did end up losing our Emma Frost. We're just going to ult with Doctor Strange now and get that revive back over to her. So here Pandapool ends up doing the special into us. We're going to end up using Wong's ultimate. We unfortunately didn't get the cons off of the Pandapool. Shadow King, we're going to use the ultimate. That's usually a pretty good sign. So we were able to get another kill on Panda. We messed up Deathpool, which we got a kill on her. So this is where it goes into the slog portion of the fight. When it's these three where they keep reviving each other, we need to try to get off the taunt so we can get to the Old Man Logan and tunnel him down when it gets to this part. Here the Old Man Logan gets another ultimate off, so we have traumas coming at us. Alright, we're going to use the ultimate from Emma Frost going into the Pandapool. Special with the Strange, we got the flips. All right, we got a kill. Now we can jump over to Old Man Logan. I'm gonna end up doing the ultimate because we have those disrupts. Trying to get the speed up on us wouldn't end up working. All right, so we got another kill. We're gonna use the special now. There's the trauma ability block, so he's not gonna special to get the revive once back over to him. And now he ended up specialing, so he's gonna get the revive once back. As you see, this is kind of the frustrating portion of the matchup. We're gonna ult again with the Shadow King. All right, let's ult. That's gonna get the disrupt, so we don't have to worry about the taunt. Well, the taunt came up, but we still got the kill on the Panda Pool. All right, special with the Ancient One. That's gonna get speed up over to us. Right now we have a minute 40. We need to get 2 kills on this Old Man Logan to get victory. Alright, we're gonna ult. That's going to summon back out the Emma Frost. Alright, special, that should do the trauma with the ability block again on the Old Man Logan. There's another kill. We're going to ult into the Old Man Logan. That's going to bring all those negative effects back over to Old Man Logan. There's the kill. Now I'm just going to hit auto. So we have a minute left. We're going to take out the Deadpool. Then we're going to jump over to the Panda Pool. But this is a victory. It's just 2 brick walls really hitting into each other. The Astral team has so much sustain and revive chances. Whereas the Mercs for Money, those 3-piece where they just kind of keep supporting each other to bring each other back to life, it just kind of adds up. But there is the victory. It doesn't happen every time, but it is doable.